Since we're live, hold on. All right, we're live. Good morning, Black Blockchain Investing. What is up? This is J.A.R.V.i.Z, also known as AKing, with yours truly, Miss Samara,
Hey
better known
guys.
as CryptoAzzy. Let's get some love for CryptoAzzy in here, guys.
Shout out.
Crypto.
And shout out to Yusuf, AKing, Risen for always bringing it and killing it.
What's up, Lynn? How y'all doing? Good morning, Letiara. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, guys.
Whew, man, so much is going on in the markets. What is going on? Is it time for Bitcoin and crypto to go through the moon? Is it time to take, to buy in and hold? Is it time to take profit? So much stuff going on, so much stuff to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to today and getting involved with that. You guys know the rules. If you can, give me a like. Matter of fact, don't give it to me. Give it CryptoAzzy. Because if I do it for CryptoAzzy, I'll do it.
And for him too.
I share. So we can get this information out. You guys can be part of this journey, this crypto experience with us. We're having a great time through all the highs, the lows, the pitfalls, the turns, the disappointments, the ditches. So we're enjoying every last minute of it, as we believe we're in the right space and we couldn't be in a better time. And we want to share that experience with you guys. So you guys know CryptoAzzy has tons. Is that my side or your side? It sounds like an echo or something.
Is it a buzzing sound?
A little bit.
Yeah, if it's buzzing, it might be my phone because I'm getting the notifications on Facebook.
Gotcha. Is there a way you can put it on mute or something?
Yeah, I've muted. Well, yeah, I muted it.
Okay, cool. What happened? Crap. What did I do? Hold on one second. All right, give me 1 second, guys. How come when it's on gallery view, it's showing that? That's weird. Anyways, so as you go, hey Adrian, how you doing? It's still buzzing a little bit. Did you change anything? Because it still sounds a little buzzy.
I've definitely put it on. Yeah, I'll put it on mute. I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. Guys, does it sound buzzy on your end? Let me know if everything sounds good for you guys. If it sounds a little buzzy or not. Because if it is, then maybe when you talk, I'll put you on mute. When I talk, I'll go on mute or whatever. When you talk, I'll go on mute, vice versa. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it could be an echo coming from my laptop, a sound feed, but I mean the buzzing sound, I'm not hearing any on my end.
How we sounding, guys? How we sounding? So yeah, good morning, family. Good morning. Okay, see, they said they heard it a little bit. So yeah, go on mute real quick, ask Maria, and then I'm gonna bring you back.
Okay, give me a moment.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna do these videos. If you can very kindly like, heart, and share the content, we're going to do the fundamentals. We'll always give you fundamentals first, and then after fundamentals, we're gonna give you the technicals. So and I'm sure you guys, y'all been down this road with us before. So fundamentals, we're looking at long term, where these projects are going, the news, all the cool stuff CryptoAzzy is going to talk about. As far as the technicals, we're looking at short moves in a market where I think the market might dip or spike here or there. So we're going to look at the technicals on that as well. So we're going to try to give you guys a robust outlook of the cryptocurrency space every Monday. So we're going to hear the fundamental side first. Fundamentals come first, and then after that, we're going to look at technicals. So if you guys have coins in mind, if you guys are up in value, you guys are down in value, whatever it is, you know, post that. Let's make this interactive. You know, share your experience. If your portfolio went up over the last couple of weeks, or portfolio went down the last couple of weeks, whatever the situation may be, you know, share that. Say, hey, my portfolio is up 30% because of this, or my portfolio is down 10% because of that. You know, whatever it is, like share that experience so we can take a look at that, and then we'll take very diligent, informed outlooks and approaches technically and of course fundamentally at the market. So we're gonna make this really, really fun, try to give you guys a ton of content. So without further ado, I'm going to bring CryptoAzzy back, and she's going to talk about the latest news and developments in the market. I'm going to go on mute, so I'm going to disappear for a little bit. I might pop back in with a few questions. And CryptoAzzy's under a little bit of weather, but she's a trooper, so she's weathering it. So if something pops up, then I'll step in and make sure everybody still has a great time. So thank you for the shares. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the hearts. You guys are troopers. CryptoAzzy, the floor is yours. Let us know what's going on with this crypto. Like, what's going on out there? News, people getting hacked. I mean, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Tell me what's going on. I'm panicking. What's going on? Should I panic or should I stay calm?
No, well, you should have reason to celebrate a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys saw what's been happening with the market. There's been speculation as to whether we're going to see, you know, $8,000. You know, we passed the $7,000 mark. We passed some key resistance. So people are wondering, you know, is this really it? You know, all the bullish news we've been hearing, is this now going to drive the market? Is this bottoming out? Is it going to reverse? So I will start, before I start on the regulation side, because there's been some good news from that. I'm going to let you know what's happening. There's been several factors that have also been affecting it that you may not even be aware of or wouldn't even think of at the moment. But miners at the moment, they're having an absolute record-breaking time. We're talking about something like almost close to 50 million hashes per second in terms of mining power, because there's been new mining inflow of new mining power coming into the mining world. Also, more efficient machines. And the hash rates for these particular machines can go to 20 up to 20 something, 20, between 20 and 25 trillion, not billion, but trillion hashes per second. That is super fast. So this basically means that despite the bear market that we were seeing over the last 6-7 months, this is something that they remain bullish on. They keep investing in their machines. And looking for profitable ways in this space. And they're thinking long term. They're thinking about their profitability. So this is great news. And even, you know, because there were concerns that it would become unprofitable when Bitcoin prices was falling. So, you know, they've actually achieved their short-term and long-term goals. And that is, you know, quite a good marker. For what's going to happen with the market over the long term. And the trading has been picking up as well. Bitcoin, the adoption rate and its popularity has been increasing, even though it's not, you may have seen the market falling a bit. And the most active pairs are against Tether, and it's been showing an inflow of funds as well, from the fixed price token to the asset. So and they're saying some bullish attitudes are beginning to return a bit. And just to give you an idea, Bitcoin daily volumes, something like $5 billion in 24 hours. So it was enough to affect the price change that we're seeing. And also Japanese investors, they're returning. I mean, it is a speculation in the Japanese yen, to be precise, and USDT. So that's been helping market movements for Bitcoin as well. And I think the share of the yen trading is over 50%. And also USDT is over 30% of trades. So, but the direct dollar inflows, that's actually lower. So this is, we're thinking this may be mostly speculative from the Japanese end at the moment. And of course, as it was reported before, the expectations of ETF, for Bitcoin BT ETF, and for US investors in particular, we are expecting money to come in from the institutions. Remember, we discussed the infrastructure being built. These are still expected. Some people thought that this would already be priced in, but we still want that clarity, and some are still holding back before pouring in. So, you know, this is August the 10th that they're speaking of in terms of a date when the ETF could be approved. But this is also a longer term expectation as well. So this optimism in the market, it hasn't faded. It's continuing to have an effect and build. And the talk of possibly, you know, the nearing of the 8,000 level. So onto the regulation side, this Sunday, the G20 had a meeting. The finance ministers had a meeting in Argentina, and they came out with a communique that said cryptocurrencies do not pose a global financial stability risk at this moment, but it was important to remain vigilant. So they were being cautiously optimistic. Now, that definitely had an impact on the market, and you know, brought some of the bulls back. If you remember back in March, the G20, they wanted to come up with a globalized, you know, united consensus on international regulations to tackle some of the challenges facing crypto industry, the blockchain industry. And then one of their main concerns has been obviously fraud, tax evasion, money laundering. So the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF, the G20 asked them, remember the FATF, they're the body, they're the international body that fight money laundering and terrorist financing. So they said we're gonna, you know, on the October, at some point in October this year, they're going to have to clarify how its standards is going to apply to cryptocurrencies. So that's been taken as bullish news. People are super optimistic because remember, one of the key issues, actually, I would say the top two has been for institutional investors has been regulations and custody. So where they would keep their billions of dollars, all their capitals, and making sure that's safe, and if necessary, fully insured as well for any loss or hacking. And we've seen high-profile hacking of exchanges, just to underline that importance. So, and in another matter as well, insurance, insuring your cryptos and your digital assets is actually a growing trend as well, which if I have time, I'll speak on that later. But this has definitely been the top two concerns for institutional investors before they come into the market en masse. So the fact that they're getting these very powerful countries, the wealthiest, the G20, and the regulatory bodies to come up with global solutions is you know, paramount. It's the key actually to see, you know, how they can build a stable framework for then. It's not just for the institutional investors. I think for the market, building the foundation for the space, I think this will be mostly good. A good development. However, I do have concerns in regards to, you know, they say under the guise of monitoring how far, you know, what they actually mean. You have to read between the lines as to what they mean by that. But anyway, so the fact that they're reviewing a global anti-money laundering standard on crypto, that's certainly going to give more stability to the market, more confidence, especially for investors, institutional investors. So this was on Sunday when a statement was issued by them. And that's quite important, and that's going to help with the market overall. So that has had an impact on the price, as we're seeing. And also there was the financial stability board as well. They're analyzing and making recommendations to the G20 on global financial systems as well. So and they're presenting key metrics for monitoring crypto assets as well. So that's important as well. So yeah, it's very powerful. And I know with France and Germany, they're also cautious in regards to that. They are coming up with other their own separate recommendations for their own markets. So you know, they did say any innovations like this, they can deliver significant benefits to the financial system and the broader economy, but they are also concerned due to the volatility of the market, and also the concerns with it being used for tax evasion and financing terrorism, and other concerns as well, to anti money laundering as well. So they have to find a middle ground, because they know, we already said this a million times, like cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, it's inevitable. It cannot be stopped. It will only continue to grow. So they're trying to find that space where it can make, you know, institutional investors happy. Also in terms of tax evasion, I think that's the main concern here. And also financing terrorism. It is something that those two areas that they're looking to tackle robustly. So that's
you said what? I'm sorry to interrupt. You said what, financing terrorism? I missed that part.
So they're concerned that cryptocurrencies may be used for terrorist financing, because they're saying that these issues, they're concerned about consumer and investor protection. They're concerned about people not paying their fair share on their taxes on cryptos, because we know the amount being declared is significantly lower than what is generated in the market. So
no, I don't. I mean, the taxation, that's a separate issue, but I don't understand the whole criminal concern. I mean, criminals use cars. They use
exactly, fiat. Like, yes,
cash. So should we criminalize everything that a criminal uses?
exactly.
So
That's the
then,
counter argument.
and then it's
Exactly.
like, blockchain is like, wouldn't that be like one of the worst vehicles to use for criminal activities? I mean, as Bitcoin in particular. So like,
Exactly.
I don't really even understand that argument.
They're saying that you know, if we condone this, you know, if they allow this to, if they allow this to bear fruit, they're going to see major criminals and the underworld shift
Yeah,
the
see,
majority
this is
from
like
fiat to
this is such a stupid argument. It's like,
exactly.
it
Yeah.
depends on your political affiliation. Like, liberals think one thing, conservatives think something else. So, for instance, like I'm independent in many ways that I think and identify. So, if we legalize crack cocaine, would everyone be a crack addict? Like, let's think about this. So it's like, you know, and that's a subjective question. That's not a question that I'm asking for an answer. But
Mm,
it's like, when you start asking people to moderate your life, like, you have to start looking at what degree are you giving up your freedom for protection. And that's a great saying that I forgot how it goes. It's something to the effect of that, for anyone that sacrifices their freedom for protection, they don't deserve both, or they don't deserve either, or something like that.
mm,
Something to that fact. I probably butchered that remark, but it's like, if we legalize this, everyone is going to use it for criminal, like, so who are we asking to protect us from each other? It's like, it's such
protect.
a I don't know. I just don't understand that argument at all. It's so silly. So I don't know. But go ahead.
And this is why we have to read between the lines. What they're essentially saying is we don't want to lose, we're already losing control as we speak. We don't want to, we want to minimize our losses. We want to minimize our, we still want to have a degree of control over the population, over certain groups and organizations. It's literally down to control. That's the only way, you know, people are basically getting this opportunity to finally to transact with each other, to forego the middleman, which could be businesses, which could be the government. And it scares them. That's the truth. It terrifies them. And the fact that this is something that is borderless, that's another thing, because if you look at the history of monetization in different countries, um, it is something where they feel because they can't control it, they don't know. There's a huge amount of uncertainty with that goes with that for governments, and in terms of how they're going to end up, you know, spending money on weapons or spending money on healthcare or whatever. It could, the different departments are. They just, you know, it's something where, okay, so how do I say this? They need as many people, this is the truth, they need many people to be on the poverty line or on the working class, rather than upper class and middle class. But they say that they support middle class, the growing of that, but their policies certainly don't encourage that. And we see that with, you know, the more and more people learn about this space, and they do whatever it takes to profit, or to, not just financially, but education wise, it opens their mindsets to what other areas of their lives they can change, you know, that they can regain control. So they're going to lose in the long run. And if they do not adapt, they will end up having to, you know, they'll be set back for decades, if not centuries, as other countries decide to, you know, take the lead and allow their you know, whichever countries decide to take the lead in this space are going to end up being the winners. They're going to end up calling the shots, and we're seeing some examples of that already. So we're seeing inflows of capital and investments being diverted from crypto, you know, restrictive countries to crypto friendly countries. So this is a sign of things to come. So, you know, it will make their lives more difficult as their citizens become more educated in different, you know, you give the market competition and different, you know, there's different ideas and different ways of doing things, and they don't have the monopoly on that anymore. Then, you know, it's just something that terrifies them, frankly speaking. So that they're trying to come up with ways they can contain the threat. That's how they really see it. So that they're now going to, you know, put a spin or a frame on it, saying, okay, trying to scare off the people that are not aware of the space already. Okay, this is financing terrorism, this is for tax evasion, and so on. But if you really, really study the technology and the adoption rates, and the smart brains coming into this space, the projects and developments being worked on, these people have track records and achievements and changing and driving their industries, and now they're coming into the blockchain space. And you know what made them successful, they're applying that in this space, and they're already, like, if we had listened to, you know, most of these people that said Bitcoin died, it died over 300 times. If we listen to people that said blockchain technology will not survive next year, yet alone 5 years, 10 years, it's now approaching, since Bitcoin's inception, is going to be approaching a decade. And this is just,
how would you respond to the critics that say Bitcoin crypto is cool, but you get taxed, you have to pay taxes on your crypto gains, and you have to pay taxes in fiat? So how would you respond to that?
I do agree that at some point you're going to have to pay taxes when you, you know, convert your crypto to fiat. But this is where the confusion is lying, and this is why we need regulation.
Well, no. This is my thing. So, like, let's say you buy one Bitcoin back when it's $1,000, right? now Bitcoin $7,000. So, and I'm not a tax expert, but if you realize, as long as you keep it in Bitcoin, from my understanding, you don't have to pay taxes on that 1,000 to 7,000. And if I'm wrong, someone who's listening, correct me. But if you realize that from 1,000 to 7,000, turning it back into fiat, then you have to pay taxes on that. So is the argument that when we buy crypto, we have to stay in crypto and be insulated in crypto so that we're not taking our crypto back into fiat and that we're actually exchanging peer-to-peer, crypto to crypto, and that's our utopia in a sense? Or is that a too distant reality where the reality is we're going to want to realize those gains in fiat so we can buy houses, cars, et cetera, et cetera. So, and you know, like, and I mean, this, what is that? So this is like the thing is like, you know, we're hearing reports of certain car dealers accepting cryptocurrency, certain real estate agencies accepting cryptocurrency, but it's not widespread adoption, of course. So in the interim, are we of the position that we should just hold and never realize our gains? Are we of the position that because if we do that, we're looking at, before mass adoption, 5 years, 10 years, who knows? And we're going to see a lot of ups and downs in between then. So, and that's a big if. That's a huge if. So how do we move forward from that? Is the question or concern, how do we pay, how is it that we have crypto, we're all crypto enthusiasts, right? But we have to pay taxes in fiat. So if we realize our gains, if you have $1,000 in Bitcoin, went to 20,000, you know, it makes a lot of sense to pay that tax bill. But at the same time, you're kind of self-defeating the reason why you got into crypto. So I'm having a hard time with this. So how would you respond to that?
That's still the ongoing argument. It still hasn't been resolved, and this is why, you know, remember there's different bodies that are confused in regards to the classification, whether it's going to be commodities or, you know, property or you know, so something else. And we're having these different regulatory bodies, not just in America but different countries around the world, coming out with contradictory reasons as to why it should be taxed, and, you know, in terms what constitutes a taxable event. So because again of the it's a borderless, one of the features of it is that it can obviously you can transact from country to country. That's something, even if you, I mean, it's really hard to put in to enforce it, because you can simply shift your money elsewhere, your cryptos elsewhere. But in terms of liquidating it and converting it to the local fiat, that depends on the jurisdiction and the setups. For example, if you you had originally purchased your crypto, let's say in America, and you end up going to, you know, liquidate it in Malta, where, you know, they've recently introduced crypto laws that are, you know, friendly. And there was also a crypto bank that was a partnership being announced. So technically, you know, if the money hadn't been made in Malta and it came from outside, you can, you know, change that, liquidate that, and not get taxed.
Sorry, no, let me interrupt you. I apologize because they're commenting. So just changing assets is a taxable event. So if I go from Bitcoin to Ripple, that's a taxable event from what I'm gathering from the comments.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So it's like, so even when we're changing within crypto, and I would also assume if I send you crypto, if that's a taxable event as well, I would imagine that's a taxable event. So what do we do? Because whenever we create these taxable events, it's like, what do? We have to pay taxes. Yeah. So if you say, hey, Yusuf, could you buy me 100 Ripple? I'm like, sure, CryptoAzzy, no problem. I buy that Ripple. That's essentially a taxable event because that's an expense. And then I send you that Ripple. Then I have to buy it in Bitcoin. Then I turn that Bitcoin to Ripple. That's another taxable event. And then I send that Ripple to you. So now we both have taxable events. So it's like what, 4 taxable events, and we
Yeah.
have to pay it in fiat.
Exactly. That makes absolute no sense. And that's why there's a fierce argument in regards to that, because you're essentially being double taxed, triple taxed.
Well,
And
I
then,
mean, it's not just about the taxes, it's the fact that we need fiat. It's like, how can we
yeah,
fully engage? And this is it's a really open question. If somebody's in the comments, if you guys want to respond, this is really an open question. I'm trying to learn here. It's like, if we're really trying to be freedom, independent, financial sovereignty, but everything we do comes back to fiat. As far as interchanging the value, it's like, how do we when and how do we get to a point to where we're either paying taxes in crypto, like a government coin or whatever it is, like when do we see that, or is that something that that could be down the pipeline? Like, that's
you,
that's what I'm really interested in, like those type of discussions, because until then it's like we're still dependent on the dollar, as somebody's fiat currency, unless you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm
yeah.
not judging anybody, nobody's on trial, but but don't play with Uncle Sam. I'll tell you that right now. Don't play with that guy.
They're putting some people in jail already, from what I'm hearing, because, well, they've also put a link, they're flouting some local laws in regards to cryptos, so that, that some, there has been some stings where they do undercover, that there was one case in America where, I think it was on localbitcoins.com, and one of the sellers in a sting operation got they got caught out and they got sent to jail. But that's uncommon at the moment. I mean, this is why it is a gray area, and they always say to declare your taxes, your cryptos, and but for now, they're still arguing over the classification of it, plus how it's going to be treated, especially if you're sending it from person to person, and what if it's a utility? What if it's a token? What if it's what if it's kept on several exchanges? And this is why it's really important to find out the jurisdiction where you're at, what the laws are in regards to making profits on the space. But also, at some point in the future, if you're able to open up an account, which is what they're, some companies are working on this problem, you could technically open an account in Malta or Switzerland, with once they had made sure that they conducted the AML and KYC due diligence. If you are allowed to, as a foreign investor, to open a crypto account there, you can then liquidate it in fiat and either pay a small amount of tax or no amount of tax. And what can the government do if you're already liquidating it? Maybe that, if you don't declare it, is there a way for it? It all depends on how it's going to be enforced and how they're going to monitor all these transactions. So this is why this is such a huge gray area, and they're just saying to seek professional advice, and make sure that you declare any crypto, if it's treated as property, if it's treated as a commodity, you'd have to declare it at some point. But some people are, just moving their accounts elsewhere, or if they've got fiat accounts in other countries, they're taking advantage of that. But it is a gray area, and I think the over the next year or so, we should get more clarification on the tax. But this is why I want to emphasize, I'm no tax expert. Most people are keeping it within this space. They're going back and forth between altcoins and USDT and Bitcoin at the moment, and finding ways to be able to. There's merchants that also accept cryptos now, so that they're to avoid having to turn it into fiat, they spend in their cryptos instead. So there's several ways around it, but again, the fact that it's such a gray area is what's causing, you know, problems. And also retrospectively, when these laws are introduced, will they be applied retrospectively? Could you technically go, can you be penalized? Would you have to pay a fine? Will you be going to jail if you know, didn't declare your tax back then? Or is it just from that day onwards? So some people are saying, you know, make the most of the space right now while you can, while it's in gray area, before, you know, these almost certain, you know, these regulations come into to say this is the red line that you should not cross, and this will, you know, these are the consequences of it. But this is why, because it's such a you know, it's borderless, so that this is why they're trying to work on a globalized united in, you know, regulatory measures that could, whichever country you go to, you're still going to be facing those sort of rules there. So that's, you know, otherwise you're going to just simply open accounts in different countries and avoid taxes that way. So, you know, that's one of the key things that they're working on as we speak. So for now, while you're investing in the crypto space, I'm making no recommendations to what you do with your money, but certainly educate yourself as much as possible and get professional advice when you're looking to liquidate it into fiat. But it is something that you would have to do, is you can't use ignorance, or, you know, they won't basically make an allowance for that. So the onus or the burden will be on the investor to do their due diligence and to declare any earnings for, you know, for it to be taxed. So that's where we stand right now. So in terms of other news, though, South Korea, they've begun to work with Chinese and Japanese regulators. They're doing a major organizational restructuring as well. They're going to introduce crypto policy initiatives as well. And they're also, they've come up with an agreement with the Chinese authorities relating to initial coin offerings as well. If you remember, the Chinese and South Korean government banned ICOs, but they're looking into that again. So that's a good sign. And there was other news as well regarding, I think it was, yes, India. So India might be doing a U-turn. So if you remember, the central bank had called for the banning the exchanges. They weren't allowing them to give them banking services. So they've actually seemingly did a U-turn, called they're now calling for regulation of their domestic crypto sector at their Supreme Court hearing, saying actually, you know, we do need a regulation on this. So that was complete U-turn, and that's actually good news. And they've actually finalized a date, is September, for the crypto industry, so mostly exchanges, but also investors that have been caught up in the freeze that was issued by the government. They're also looking to have their final hearing, and that they will come to a final judgment as to what's going to happen with the state, you know, whether they're going to introduce regulations or not, or whether there's going to be a continued outright ban on crypto. So again, this is why it's important to challenge. And there was one thing that fascinated me about India's case. So the central bank for India, they remember, they're responsible for you know, their monetary policies in their country. They conducted no research nor consultation before enforcing the actual ban, the policy in keeping banks away from offering services to crypto businesses and exchange. That is mind-boggling. You would think that they would at least consult some people that are experts in the area before doing that. But no, it was actually a knee-jerk reaction, which is why they were so caught off guard by the you know, robust challenge, the uproar, the from the investors to the cryptocurrency exchanges and businesses, because it was booming. India was one of the fastest growing market, and then it was stopped in its track. So the little whenever you have these, I think this is going to be something we're going to see with other countries as well. There's going to be legal challenges to this as well. So this is an indication of what can be achieved if if you don't take it lying down. So this is why but it's shocking that they didn't even go in they didn't even spend any time to do research or consult the people in this space. That's incredible. So that's something which in September we're going to find out. So this has helped with the market as well. And I think there was another news regarding, oh yeah, in America as well, there's been some hearings. The US Congress, there've been the industry leaders have been given their testimonies, and they've been consulting them. Crypto industries, the leading experts and entrepreneurs. So that was the House Agriculture Committee. So they sounded a bit bullish, and they agreed, like right now there's not sufficient framework and regulations, obviously, but that's what we're working on. But there was a consensus about that, and they wanted to find out how cryptos are impacting America, and what this means for the future. So, and they do have a vested interest in securities and the economic growth. So obviously, this is something that they're keen to hear on. And yeah, it seems bullish right now. On that note, I think US Chamber as well. There was some news that came up with that with US Chamber, but yeah, that's I think it was US Chambers. They were demanding ICO regulation. So they're if you are aware of US Chamber, they represent small and medium-sized businesses. So they wanted to find out, they wanted regulations to be created to have responsible crypto-based business models, and also they want to take advantage of financial technology or fintech and innovation. So that's something that they also stated for the SEC to consider and have some what do you call it, to look at the space, which they're already doing as well. So yeah, that's on the regulatory side. I mean, there's so much more bullish news. There's a Chinese city that came out with a 1.5 billion fund as well to promote public blockchain projects. I believe there was more patents that have been filed as well. There was a New Zealand blockchain technology company as well that I think they're one of the first to trace clothes from origin to sell as well. They've raised 1.2 million for that. And I like this one because they were one of their mission statements was to end modern day slavery. So, in some countries they're being paid peanuts to create trainers or sneakers, you guys call it, or clothing. So the fact that you can implement blockchain technology, again with that traceability and transparency, that's something that they're taking advantage of. And I believe Google as well, they reversed their ban on, I think is to do with Coinbase, but Coinbase adverts are now being displayed on Google. And if you remember, Facebook had reversed their ban on ads, crypto ads as well. So again, that's a trend as well. That's keeping up with their competitors. And yeah, it goes on and on. There's literally so much I could talk about. Walmart as well. They're using blockchain technology to procure farm produce as well in India. And I think a Japanese telephone company as well. They're seeking a blockchain patent as well. But yeah.
Good deal. Good deal, crypto.
Also, the airline industry, Lufthansa, have come up with ideas as well for blockchain in aviation, entertainment industry as well. Yeah.
So very good. Thank you, CryptoAzzy, for the fundamentals. You have superseded our expectations. So we're running a little bit low on time. How long have you been here?
Wow. 52 minutes.
All right. So let me just try to pull up Ethereum and Bitcoin real quick because we don't have much time left. Give me one second.
While you do that as well,
Maybe I'll just pull up Ethereum real quick and I'll just show Ethereum and yeah, we'll just get that done and so we could be on target today. What was you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you remember when I made a call on nulls?
Yeah, sure.
It was way back. It was way back. It was to do with customized blockchain for businesses. Mm-hmm. So that's now been issued on Binance because Binance is back in the mainnet token swap. So that's had an impact on the market as well.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Okay, so let me just show these charts real quick. I'm gonna try to pull up a couple of coins just so people can kind of get a view of what I see and what could potentially happen in the market. So let me just log out of this real quick because I know how this goes.
Yeah, so they added a new trading pair with USDT.
All right, so I'm logging out of Facebook. So if somebody messages, you're just gonna have to, or somebody comments, you have to just let me know.
No problem.
CryptoAzzy. All right, so here it is, guys. Here's my Ethereum on the, I think this is a 16-hour time frame. Let me come down to like the 4-hour time frame, so a little more dynamic. So here's my Ethereum chart on the 4-hour time frame, looking at Bitfinex. So with Ethereum, we had like this head and shoulders, and I showed you guys that head and shoulders already in a prior example, where we went something like this here, popped up here, came back down here, popped up, and that was our head and shoulders. And we shot back down, and then since then we popped back up. We've been ranging between this 0.618 and this 0.466 range. So I don't think we fell far enough, and it's subjective, but I don't think we fell far enough on this head and shoulders pattern. So so you want to take the bottom, you want to take the neckline to the top of the head, and that's roughly around 465, 466. That's about 10% there, and we only fell about 6%. 10% will get us, or even 11% will get us closer down to 417. So I think there's a potential for us to fall down a little bit further. Right now, we're just ranging. You know, we drop down, we pop back up, we drop down, pop back up, drop down, pop back up, drop down. And this right here, this blue, this little green zone, that's resistance. So if we pop over here, particularly like 472, 473, then I'll probably be long on it, 478, 492, 515. If we drop back down, I'll be short on it, 438, 417. So that's my Ethereum update. If this right here is a stochastic RSI, is giving us a overbought reading, and now it's selling off. So that also could be used as an indicator that we're going to see a lower price. So right now, I'm not really, you know, I'm neutral. I'm bearish neutral right now on Ethereum. And let me just take a look at Bitcoin real quick so I can give you guys. And guys, and as we're have them give you my charts. Hashtag charts 3 times. Hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. Tell them CryptoAzzy. CryptoAzzy.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Yep. Fill up those comments with charts.
Charts 3 times. Hashtag charts 3 times. Hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. Hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. That's my favorite hashtag. Hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. All right, so yeah, so that's how I see Ethereum. I still see Ethereum as a potential drop, but I'm watching this area. You know, I'm just paying attention. We're bouncing between these fib levels. If it wants to go higher, we'll be prepared for it. If it wants to go low, we'll be prepared for it. So it's no big deal. No emotions. We're just watching to see what it does. Right now, I'm still biased towards the downside. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let me get some likes. Let me get some hearts. Let me get some shares. Charts. Hashtag charts. Hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. Let's take a look at BTC USD. So Bitcoin, very similar. And I'm going to show you guys this as well. This is why I'm not bullish on it just yet, even though price is pumping. So Bitcoin, and let me just take this off so you guys can see this. So Bitcoin, although we have been making higher prices, as you can see, look at the RSI reading. We had an overbought here, an overbought here. Then it came down, then went back up. So it was overbought here, overbought here. So what does that mean? We're forming a lot of bearish divergence where price is going up and the oscillator is going down. So to me, it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin falls. How far it falls, I think it should come back down to the $600 to $800 level. If it wants to go up to 8,000, that's fine. It would just give us more bearish divergence. So the further it goes up from here, the harder it's going to fall in my view. And I think we're just about ready for that fall to happen. So I'm not buying Bitcoin. So you guys who are enjoying the profits in Bitcoin right now, enjoy it. Enjoy it. But I think Bitcoin is going to discount. And then once it discounts, I'll get back into it and we'll see what happens from there. Or I won't, depending how far it discounts. But yeah, I think we're done. We're just about done with this move. So I don't like buying moves at the top. And the last thing I want to show, because somebody mentioned it, let me get charts. Let me get this is not financial advice, but listen though. This is not financial advice, but listen though. Hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. So make your own decisions, whatever you guys want to do. Let's take a look at Monero. So Monero is in this huge. Let me take a look at the daily chart so you guys can get a better view. So for me, I think Monero's in this huge bearish pennant. Bearish pennants, guys, they keep about a 55, 56% probability. So they're not high probability patterns. So this thing can break out towards the upside. But we have a slight edge probability-wise that it breaks down towards the downside. So we have a 55% chance, 56% chance this thing breaks out towards the downside. So how am I playing Monero? Well, let's take a look at this. This black line is resistance. As you can see, we touched here, we touched here, we touched here, we touched here. So this black line is resistance. So if I know major resistance is up here, why would I buy? So for me, I would need Monero above 150, 160 in order for me to get long-term bullish on it. So if someone bought Monero right now, congratulations. If we go long-term bullish, congratulations. For me personally, I need 150, 160 to break above here, and then I could be long-term bullish. What could also happen is that on Monero, we could see a breakout like this, get everybody excited about the market, and then fall back down. So I'm really, really cool on Monero. I think Monero, very much like the rest of the market, has to discount some more. And I could be totally wrong, but look how far low and suppressed we are. I mean, we're at 137. I have no problem waiting for 150, 160 for me to get bullish on it. That's just me. So if you like, rolling the dice and throwing money, that's great. Do what you do. I think at the end of the day, if you invest in solid projects, no matter what, or when you get into the market, I think it can be immensely profitable in the long run. So there's really not that big of anxiety involved. But in this particular setup, I have a slight edge that we're going to fall down a little bit further. So I'm going to respect that edge. If we break out of here, obviously I'll go up a little bit higher in price. So that's how I see Monero. Monero has a really good technical. So if we take a look at the weekly chart as well, I'm going to show you guys this as well. This right here, this candle is still holding true. So we need to be above really 170 for us to be bullish, for us to violate this candle, in my opinion. So I'm not rushing into Monero. And then we had this candle, we rejected all the way down. We shot down to $83 on Bitfinex. and then we pulled back up. Since pulling back up, we shot up here, then we came back down, now we're shooting back up. And again, if we pass this wick right here, right at that 150, 155 area, then I have an opportunity. Right now we're forming lower highs and higher lows. Disregard this wick, lower highs and higher lows. So if we break above there, then yeah, I'm bullish. And that might mean I'm bullish on the entire market, who knows? But as of right now, I don't have no reason to get into the market. I mean, I'm just waiting to get into the market as far as going long, and so we'll see how that goes. Let me take a look at one more coin. I think someone said OMG. So this is the daily chart, guys. So pay attention. Just pay attention to these levels. If you notice these little red lines at 112, I have another red line right here, dotted line 115. Those are my alerts. So I'm not stressing over this. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over this. You know, there might be little scalp trades I could take in the meantime, but I'm not stressing over this. The market is not stressing me out. If I get an alert at 151, there's a very good chance I'm gonna go long. If I get an alert at 112, there's a very good chance I'm gonna go short. It's really that simple. Like, no drama, no headache, no pressure. I know the market is in a range. I got it boxed in. I'm gonna let it do whatever it wants to do, and then I'm going to execute. So if we were to go long, this is how I would play it. Not financial advice, but listen though. My entry be right here. That's where I would get into the market, right at the black line, essentially. And then my stop loss would be right here, right below this area. And then I'll be looking for at least a measured move of 171 of $70. So at least, so this area right here, I'm looking for at least a $70 move, one direction or another. So I got a lot of money on the table. I'm not stressed about it. I'm gonna let the money, I'm gonna let the market play out. We're getting, the closer we get to this apex, the better. As soon as we break out, I'll execute. Give me one more coin because we're past time. Give me one more coin, Asmaret.
Yeah. Syndicator.
What's the thing for a syndicator? Is
CND.
CND?
Yeah.
Oh crap, that's nothing I can use. CND.
Or 0x.
Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is bullish, so that doesn't really tell me anything. Zero. Does anyone have a USD market? Give me something that has a USD market I can look at.
SWAP, AST.
I don't think I have that. Oh crap, I might. All right, this is cool. Oh man, get all these alerts. So AirSwap to me is like super bearish, like the rest of the market. Like, guys, this isn't like rocket science either. I'm just showing you guys some very simple TA. So you see where support was here. We flew up, came back down to support. We're close to, flew back up, came back down. We broke down, we popped back up, then we broke back down, retested, and broke back down. So for me, I don't see any reason to buy. And then potentially, we may be doing this right here as far as a head and shoulders. And head and shoulders, they typically have about an 80% success ratio. So we could be seeing another, oh wow. Yeah, we could be dropping quite a bit on air. What's this? You said AirSwap?
Yeah.
14 cents. Yeah, so we could drop back down to maybe 6 cents, something like that. So I wouldn't be bullish here. I would be bullish if you pass like, you know, 2-3 cents, then maybe I'll be bullish. I'll probably bullish right here, like right at 2 cents or 21 cents. I'm sorry. Like right at 21 cents, 22 cents. I'll probably bullish right around there on the way up. But yeah, I'm not interested in trying to catch the bottom. So if you guys are looking for looking to catch the very bottom, sometimes it works out like that for me. A lot of times it doesn't, but I try to catch the trend and I don't see it trending upwards. So I'm not really bullish on any crypto right now, actually. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, we're having a lot of debates in the back room where crypto is going to go and whatnot. See, like this is Ethereum right here, like on the daily chart, and we have this daily close where we close bearish. So like for me, like we really got to get above this candle to be bullish, like 472, 473, and close above there. But if we close inside of this candle, like I don't see how we're bullish. I just don't see. So I just have to be bearish neutral right now. I just can't get long in the market. So if you guys are long is working out for you, fabulous. But for me, I just can't get long just yet. So that's my crypto analysis. Oh crap. All types of buttons. Let me pull Facebook back up, see what people are saying.
Yeah, there was a request for Factum FCT by Ola.
Olu?
Yeah.
I got you, man. I'm gonna send it to you because I'm running out of time on this little whatever. We've been going a lot longer lately. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me just pull this up.
Too much fun. 8 minutes. We're just over 8 minutes. It's cool. Yeah. The Jay Dean and Michael Lels, this is not hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though.
Man, you guys make my heart smile when I see hashtag this is not financial advice, but listen though. Hashtag I'm Mr. Hashtag not financial advice, but listen though. That's why I want y'all to call me Mr. Hashtag not financial advice, but listen though.
And then Eric Spence says, Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. I meant charts, charts, charts. And Jeremiah Johnson's hashtag sometimes you gotta race.
Jeremiah's my boy. That's my guy from way back in the day, day one. No new friends around here. He knows. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna look at these charts, and also guys, I want to hear some feedback from y'all because we've been doing these little lives and we talk fundamentals and that's cool. We talk technicals and that's cool, but we want to kind of spice it up a little bit and maybe bring in some case studies, bring in some more trendy, popular conversation topics. So like maybe things more related to different events and how they relate and transpire back to cryptocurrency. So we want to make things a little bit more engaging, interesting. So if this is engaging and interesting enough, then we'll keep it as it is. But I kind of feel like it's kind of like a, like an old man's news channel. Like we look at the news and then we look at the charts, we look at the news, look at the charts. And there's a lot of things I feel like blockchain encompasses as far as freedom, as far as financial sovereignty, as far as transparency, and the things that happen like in our day-to-day news and our day-to-day media, how blockchain can be relevant to that. So I want to try to make things more interesting, more fun. But there's always those people like, oh, I don't want to hear about this. I just want the facts. I just want this. I just want that. So, help us out. If y'all want things to be a little bit more interesting, because we enjoy doing these Zooms, but we want to bring more value and we want to make it more interesting, not just charts all the time and what North Korea said and what this bank said. So we don't want to just be narrators of what's happening, but also really help you guys understand in much more fluent and interesting way. I'm getting notifications like crazy right now. So let us know what you guys think. Leave your feedback. Let us know what you guys think. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. You guys follow us, so when we do go live, you can see our live videos. Follow me. Follow CryptoAzzy, her name under Azzy Samara. Follow CryptoAzzy. And yeah, let's just continue having a good time, continue to build, and continue to work with each other. I'm done, CryptoAzzy. Are you done?
Yep.
So we'll see. Like we started to try to do this before, and then there's some people like, I don't want to hear about this. Like you don't understand. Like all the like, I'm not gonna use the term that I want to use. There's people that are like they just don't like fun and they don't like seeing their counterparts that look like them do things differently than what they are accustomed to. So there's gonna be people that love it and there's gonna be people that hate it, and I'm really okay with that. So if you guys want that, then we can bring that. If not, we can keep it. We'll keep it strictly business and whatever. But we got to figure out something so we can make this a little bit more engaging and reach more people. So that's what we're always thinking about. That's what we're always focused on is how can we get more people involved, more people engaged, and keep things moving forward. So thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep,
and JJ, appreciate your feedback, man. Appreciate your feedback. Your comment in regards to the taxes and stuff. He said like in Puerto Rico, like short-term capital gains they won't charge you for. So cool. I'm done. I'm done, CryptoAzzy. I'm out. I'm about to. You have any last words? I'll give you the last words, the last segments to speak your stuff.
The British have a saying, and it's stay calm and carry on.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares, CryptoAzzy.
Stay calm and carry on. That's it.
I love giving her a hard time. I'm just messing with you.
Stay calm and carry on. Stay cool.
Peace, family. Love.